All right, next step is texture painting. Texture painting allows us to paint on the mesh, which is really nice because we could paint eyeballs, we could paint whatever textures we want to paint on the mesh. So the first step is make sure you're in object mode and select your geometry here. And we need to unwrap this mesh. We need to unwrap a 3D model onto a 2D image, and then we can paint on top of the 2D image. So with that geometry selected, we're going to go to UV editing. And you'll notice here we are by default in edit mode, which is where we want to be. We want to press A to select all the vertices. And then we could go to the UV menu up here, and we're going to go to Smart UV Project. You could also click the U and UV Mapping Smart UV Project. Don't change anything in here, just click OK. And you'll see right here that it unwrapped the whole entire mesh onto a 2D plane. And that's good. Next step, we're going to go into the texture paint mode. And you'll notice that the texture is set as pink, and we can't color on top of it because we need to add a new texture here. So we're going to press the plus icon here, and we're going to set this as base color. And we're going to give it a name, Herbient. I don't know if I could use an apostrophe, Herbient color. And keep width and height at 1024. That works. You could always increase it if you need a higher quality texture paint. And we're going to go ahead and uncheck alpha here and press OK. All right, now we have a base color to work with. We have here where we could change the color that we're going to be painting with. And I'm going to go ahead and change this to blue. And I'm going to select the fill icon, and I'm going to fill this with a blue-ish color. Try that again. Blue. There we go. Nice blue color. And then what we could do is we could go to change the color, and let's do white. And I'm going to change it to draw. And before I start drawing, I want to go over to this setting right here. And this is mirror or symmetry, and it will mirror what you do on one axis and do the same thing on the other. I'm going to go ahead and select X, and I'm going to paint my eyeball. And you should see it. Yep, paints on both sides. Let's go ahead and hide these bones. I'm going to go back. I'm going to select this, go into pose mode, and I'm going to reset the rotation and grab. So Alt R, Alt G, go back into texture paint, and oops, go into object mode, select my object. I'm going to go into texture paint mode and select my object. Okay. So now I should be able to paint, and whatever I do on one side shows up on the other. But I don't quite like that. So I'm going to go ahead and undo. And there. But from here, let's go object mode, select the armature, pose mode, select all, Alt R, Alt G, go back in object mode, select my mesh, go into texture paint, and that looks better. I'm going to hide the bones because I don't really need to see them. And I'm going to do a front facing view so I know that I'm coloring correctly. Let's go ahead and change the color to white. I don't have symmetry enabled. I'm going to go here, enable X, axis symmetry. I'm going to paint the eyeball. Make him angry. Angry monster. Let's change it now to black. this part of the eyeball. And I could change the radius here. I can make the brush smaller or larger and make it pretty small. You could also adjust the strength of the brush. And I'm going to paint that. That looks pretty good. I do notice. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right. So there we have kind of a general color painting on it. If we ever want to change this, so you see he's pretty glossy. He reflects the light. And maybe that might not be what I want. I can go to shading tab here. And with the shading tab, I can see that the image, this image, has already been added. So the Kirby-ant color, and it's connected to the base color, so of my mesh. So this is the material that has been automatically applied. From here, I could change the settings like increase the roughness and other settings. In this case, I think we're just going to focus on roughness, maybe a little bit of metallic. That looks pretty good. All right. So that in a nutshell is texture painting. We'll get more into this. And what I'd like you to do now is go ahead and render out a view of your monster in an action pose or an animation of your monster, maybe a walk cycle animation, jumping, whatever you want it to be. And that is a wrap. I did it. I did it.